Victor Hale, the devil's advocate. Victor Hale sat in his corner office, staring at the city skyline as twilight painted the glass towers in shades of orange and gold. The faint hum of the bustling metropolis barely penetrated the thick glass, leaving him in contemplative silence. A high-profile defense attorney with an unmatched record, Victor was the darling of the courtroom. To his peers, he was a master of persuasion. To his adversaries, he was a force of nature. But Victor harbored a secret, a darkness he kept buried beneath tailored suits and impeccable rhetoric. Years ago, in his early career, Victor had been complicit in covering up a murder to protect an influential client. The evidence had been irrefutable, but Victor had done what he was paid to do: create doubt, shift blame, and dismantle the prosecution. The client walked free, and Victor's career soared. That secret, however, was no longer safe. The blackmail. The day had begun as routine. Victor had just secured an acquittal for a hedge fund manager accused of insider trading, his confidence riding high. But the envelope waiting for him in his office shattered the illusion of control. Inside was a single photograph. Victor shaking hands with James Harrington, the client he had protected all those years ago. Alongside it was a typed note: "You can't outrun the past $5 million. 3 days, or the truth sees daylight." Victor's blood ran cold. Harrington had died in a suspicious accident 5 years after his acquittal. No one had ever connected Victor to the crime, but the photo suggested someone new. He scanned the room, his paranoia spiking. That night, he met with Emma Green, his longtime investigator and the only person he trusted. "Whoever sent this knows their game," Emma said, analyzing the photo. "No fingerprints, no digital trail. If this leaks, it can't," Victor snapped. "Find out who's behind this, Emma. I don't care what it costs." The case within a case. Even as the blackmail loomed, Victor couldn't step away from his latest case. Defending a young woman, Elena Ortiz, accused of murdering her abusive boyfriend. The evidence was damning. Blood on her hands, a weapon in her possession. But Victor saw something in her eyes. Desperation, yes, but also truth. "You didn't kill him," he said during their first meeting. "No," Elena whispered. "But no one will believe me." Victor vowed to prove her innocence, though part of him wondered if his dedication stemmed from guilt over the lives he'd destroyed in the past. Elena became his redemption project, a chance to atone for his sins. The web tightens. Emma called 2 days later, her voice tense. "Victor, I found something." She slid a file across his desk containing surveillance photos of Victor and Emma together, along with detailed records of their conversations. "We're being watched," she said. "This isn't just about the Harrington case. They're digging into everything." Victor's stomach churned. If the blackmailer uncovered his other secrets, the bribed jurors, the falsified evidence, his career would be over. His life might be, too. "What do they want?" Victor muttered. "To ruin you," Emma replied grimly. "And they're playing the long game, the trial and the threat." In court, Victor dismantled the prosecution's case against Elena. He exposed flaws in the forensic analysis, cast doubt on witness credibility, and painted a picture of a system eager to vilify a woman trying to survive. But outside the courtroom, the walls were closing in. The blackmailer's demands escalated. First, they wanted money. Then, they demanded Victor throw Elena's case, ensuring her conviction. "You do that, and she'll go to prison for life," Emma warned. "She's innocent, Victor." Victor's jaw tightened. "If I don't comply, my life ends. If I do, hers does. What choice do I have?" "You've always had a choice," Emma said quietly. The revelation. As the trial entered its final week, Victor received an untraceable video file. It showed Emma meeting with a man Victor didn't recognize, exchanging a thick envelope. Betrayal cut deeper than any blade. "Emma," Victor said when he confronted her, his voice icy. "Why?" Her eyes filled with tears. "It's not what you think, Victor. I was trying to protect you. By selling me out?" "No," she shouted. "That man is the blackmailer. I infiltrated his operation to find leverage against him. But I couldn't tell you. I needed you to act as if everything was normal." Victor wanted to believe her, but the seeds of doubt had taken root. The twist. On the trial's final day, Victor delivered a closing argument that left the courtroom spellbound. He wove a narrative of resilience and injustice, framing Elena as a victim of both her circumstances and the law's failure to protect her. The jury deliberated for hours before delivering their verdict. Not guilty. Elena wept with relief, and Victor felt the first flicker of redemption. But as he left the courthouse, his phone buzzed with a message. "Well played. But this isn't over." That night, Victor met Emma in a dimly lit bar. "They won't stop," Emma said. "Not until they've destroyed you." "What do you suggest?" Victor asked. "We take the fight to them. The deadly game." Victor and Emma orchestrated a counterattack, using Emma's connections to expose the blackmailer's network. They planted false information, baiting the blackmailer into revealing their hand. It worked partially. They discovered the blackmailer was a former prosecutor, Marcus Dane, whose career Victor had ruined during a heated courtroom battle years earlier. Dane's vendetta was personal, and he wanted Victor to lose everything, just as he had. But Dane was always one step ahead. He leaked a portion of Victor's secrets to the press, igniting a scandal that tarnished his reputation. Clients fled, cases were dropped, and Victor's once sterling career crumbled. The final move. Victor confronted Dane in a secluded warehouse, where the blackmailer's operations were based. "You destroyed my life," Dane snarled. "Now I'll destroy yours." Victor's voice was cold. "You think this makes you better than me? You've become everything you hate." Their confrontation turned violent, but Emma arrived just in time, incapacitating Dane with a well-placed strike. As the authorities took Dane away, Emma turned to Victor. "It's over." "No," Victor said, his gaze distant. "It's just beginning." Epilogue. Months later, Victor sat in a modest office, far from the grandeur of his former life. He had lost everything. His firm, his fortune, his reputation. But he had found a strange peace. Elena Ortiz's case had sparked a change in him. Now, Victor took on clients who couldn't afford high-profile lawyers, fighting for justice in a way he never had before. The darkness within him hadn't vanished, but he had learned to channel it. He was no longer the devil's advocate. He was something more dangerous. A man who had nothing left to lose.